All right, so yes, we can start. So welcome to another Exploit Pack Monday training. So on this one, I'm gonna show you how to approach the exploit development process using Exploit Pack. But first, we're gonna record this session for the people that cannot join because of time zone issues. If you can share my screen, if you can see the my screen share, please just confirm so we can begin. You have the chat that you can use, or you can unmute yourself and use a microphone, whatever is yeah, it's best for you. So can you guys see my screen already? Yes, no?
Yep.
Yeah, all right, then we can go ahead and start with it. So I'm running exploit pack here on a Kali box Linux. I believe I'm using just what version of Java I'm using? This one. It's OpenGDK. So so basically, if you grab choose a copy of Kali, you can do the same as me. That should do. All right. So on the past trainings, we approached the exploit development without exploit pack itself. So basically, we talk a little bit of about how to develop an exploit, typically abusing of some memory corruption techniques. So, but on this one, I would like to show you how you can just take an exploit and then use it in exploit pack itself, because I think that that also makes sense for you guys. So if there is any question about exploit pack on how it works, on how to approach this, everything should be answered in the manual pages. Otherwise, please contact me if you have any further questions on this, something that you don't understand. Also, might be that something doesn't even make sense, and then we can just work it out and see if we can change it as well. So okay, so basically you have your exploit tree on your left, and all these exploits, as you may notice, when you activate your product, you will see that your exploit tree, the total of exploit and modules will grow exponentially. So I think basically we have around 400 exploit or something on the, you only get the trial without activation, and then you get almost 14,000. So most of those exploits, they are not activated with exploit pack. I mean, they are imported into it, but you need to do some work with those exploits in order to make it happen. That's why exploit pack is a framework itself. So where can you find those exploits? Because if you look here, you will have them in divided by platforms, but on the top of it, you will see that there are a bunch of them. One is called skeleton exploit. So what I'm gonna show you now is what can you do with those, or how can you add your own exploit. So the main things that will be interesting for you will be to understand how exploit pack use these modules and how are they parsed or interpreted by exploit pack itself. So the first way of adding a module, of course you can do this process manually, but you do have a wizard here that you can just click add module, and then you can just select your module name, the author that is going to be yourself, service affected, and CB emitter if there is one, port affected and tested on. So these properties, you can fill them. That's up to you. And then the platform of code, if you select a platform that is the one of your choice or custom, that it will be shown here as well. So, and then you can select as well the exploit type, the exploit type that is basically client side, remote, local, or is a web type of exploit. And then if the exploit requires some special arguments for it. Last but not least is the shell code, and or if you can get a shell out of this exploit, it's just a proof of concept, and I will go a little bit more detail on that later on. So basically, then you can just add a module description, and all these fields they will be shown on your exploit once it's populated on the tree of your exploit here, and then you will see them when I'm pointing with my mouse. So basically this module, these properties and the module description will be shown there. Then you can click on next. You can choose add something there, and then here you will also have a way to paste the code of the exploit that you are using. It could be any type of code. Doesn't have to be Python, because you will see that most of the modules they can be Python, but with exploit pack doesn't have to be Python. It can be Python Perl, it can be Ruby, it could be any language that you like, and it can be Bash script if you feel like it. So, but you have to remember that exploit pack will try to guess the type of code that you have on that exploit, but the easiest way to show the exploit pack, because it will try to guess it by just trying to parse the language, but it's easier if you point it into the right direction by just giving the environment variables of the interpreter language that you want to use. So if in this case it's Python 2. All right. Otherwise, it will try to guess it, and if the case that cannot guess the interpreter that you want to use for that exploit, then will go. It will go into the default one that you have previously assigned in your preferences. This case is Python 2, and I'm using as a default interpreter. And here, you just have to select your interpreter and then click on check. If it can't find it, then it will just tell you that, all right, it's good to go. Let me sip my coffee. All right, and to make it easier, because you can use libraries, you can use anything you want here, but to make it easier is remember exploit pack. The goal of this tool is to be easy to use, and to be just a quick activity way to use it during a pen test. During a pen test, you don't have like let's say 2 months to develop an exploit and then port it to the tool that you wanted to use, and then so on and so forth. We just want to paste the code, make it happen as soon as possible against the targets that you have, and then try to use other exploits to do some privilege escalation or move or get lateral movement and so on and so forth. So that's why when you create here, you have choose only the basic options that you might need, and you don't even need to go with those options. But those are the most basic options that you can use. Of course, there are some libraries that you can use in order to make it more complex. But I'm going to show you the basic options that we have that are basically just using arguments in order to define the target properties. So these are the basic arguments that you can select from an exploit, and this is made in such a way using the mentality that you can run all of these exploits without the needing of the GUI, because in some projects that you might not be able to run the GUI or get an agent to pivot with exploit pack so you can run the exploit. But you should be able to run all your exploits without exploit pack itself as well. So, but these are the basic arguments that you will need. So it's the R stands for remote shell, execute code, command, and then choose local shell. Right. All right. So, and so basically, if you have this on your code, then you need to also have it in your file with the properties. The basic skeleton, the basic folder structure of exploit pack will be, so basically when you get into your exploit pack, this is my exploit pack main folder, then you will have an exploits folder, and inside of them you will see that you have a bunch of XML files. So if you want to find this one, you can of course edit directly from here, but if you want to find it directly from if you want to do it the same from the console, you can find the name skeleton exploit. So I'm gonna use B on this case. So there you go. So you have the same data values that you have for your skeleton exploit here. And on the case of selecting the shellcode types is based on this one. So basically, if the shellcode available is equals to RECL. So if we remove one, let's remove execute code. So we only have RCL. So also let's remove this one. So we will have only remote shell and command. So we do that, and then we can do modules, refresh modules. Might take a few seconds. And after that, if we select this one, you will see that we only have remote shell and command. So so in this case, we have actually, if we look at this skeleton exploit, we have a shell code for remote shell and a shell code for execute code. So this is not right. So let's fix it just for the sake of it. RE and then modules, refresh modules. Then it takes a few seconds to do the refresh. And there you go. We have remote shell and execute code. So if you want to add a different shell code, you can also do this. And say we want to add this shell code, right? So we add it like that, and then of course let's say this shell code would be a local shell. So we can say local, and then we have a local shell there. And of course, you need to debug this. You need to make it work for the exploit that you want to run. But exploit pack will give you a way to it will give you some tools to develop your exploit. So for instance, you have the GDB connector that you can use. And next year, so basically next month, when we release the new version, we will have the integrated IDA plugin that will connect to exploit pack, so you can debug. So while you are working on your exploit, you will be able to debug it. So that's what we're trying to achieve. If you click on debug on the button debug here now, it will try to run it in a console. It depends on how you have it configured, but it will try to run it inside a console if you have the connector on. All right. And in terms of shellcodes, you can use wherever, of course, you want it. You can use any, you can define the patterns, check for offset here, or there is also the way to connect directly with the rope chains generators. So if you want to create your rope chain using exploit pack, that at the end we are using the output of a rope gadget and a roper, one of the two. So, but basically, if you know how to create a rope chain, you can also do it directly on exploit pack. Do we have any questions, guys? Do we have any questions so far? Or maybe I can continue with it. Yeah, might be. Yeah, we try to pick a time where we could be in the middle. So that's why it's 5 CET. But maybe next time we can go a little bit like let's say 2 hours later next month. All right. So if there are no questions, I will choose continue with it. Okay, let's see if I can show you the GDB connector. I don't know what type of, oh, I am already running beta here. So what I need to do, I think I already copied. So I'm gonna remove beta from here. Yeah, all right. So basically what I'm gonna show you here is what we have at the moment to connect the split pack to a debugger, but I would recommend that you just wait until next year so you can make use of the more advanced way of connecting exploit pack to a debugger that will be with IDA directly. But just for the sake of it, I'm gonna show you. So basically, what I have now on the screen is a GDB. This is something that you can use to debug an exploit on a Linux machine. So it's a GNU debugger. So it looks like this, so without using any type of init. So if we want to create, if you want to use the GBB connector, we can use this. And then what we need to do is to say GDB like this. Okay. Check on this. Yeah, and then we have a shell here that is connecting the Asian with exploit pack. So basically, what you are seeing on the screen at the moment is it's basically a ping pong that exploit pack does with Asian, but it's based on a Pi shell. And now, if we look at exploit pack itself, you will see that you have a Pi shell here, and then you can basically, when you have an exploit, you can just debug it and run it on it. Check on this. Yes. So now you will have. Oh, I did stop the exploit. I should use a different console. Sorry, guys. Because this should be done in two different instances. So yeah, it's the same one. And then if I go to, this should be my target. Let's say GDB. Do we have something to debug? This one that I was debugging from Hack the Box. So now we have exploit pack GDB. And if we run it directly from exploit pack, and you will see that there is a different, basically was customized to our liking. So basically the interface now of GDB will look completely different. If you want to remove it, so basically it's the same interface of GDB, but a little bit more beautified. So if we want to remove it or change it, let's say, but it's basically the same. If you want to add let's say add a breakpoint, you say break on somewhere, can break on. This should be. Now if we run it, that we choose hit the breakpoint after choose adding the A's. Yeah, and then we can choose step in, or step, or choose click on next, and then if you press enter, it will do, it will redo the latest one, right? So it's, yes, right now we are here. So you need to, yeah, I'm just showing you a crack me here, but think about like this is the target machine, and on the target machine you are debugging um, the target that you wanted to run. So basically here you can on the exploit path side you have the shell that you can just run stuff from it, and the shell will intercept it and it will run it directly with the connector, right? And here you can, if you ask the context, it will just give you this, and it's a little bit better. Let me show you the difference. So if we remove the init, we can, let's see, go here and then move the GDB init to GDB init.backup, and then open. Let's do the same. So I'm gonna close this, and let's without the init, I'm gonna set a breakpoint on this function, and then run it. And then we have the breakpoint there. Try to see. We don't have context, so we do info registers and this assembly, and that's what we get. So basically this is the output that we get. So basically we got the registers here, the disassembly of where we are now. So at the moment we are here in the beginning of the push RBX. So we started here. Oh, sorry, we started here because we are on the brick of the hexathlon function. So if we click on next, and that's it. See, this is yeah, it's a bit uglier than before. You cannot really, well, you can follow of course, but it's harder to follow. So this, I'm gonna show you the difference again. On desktop, let's move the backup to it like that, and then yeah, go back to desktop, and then we do it like that. Brick on Exa. We run it, type password, and then you can see the difference. Now we don't have to, as soon as it hits the breakpoint, it will just show you us the registry values on top, and then on lower we can see the text section, the code in the disassembly, and also we know exactly where we are now. So it's on push RBX, and then, yeah, and then we can choose as before, choose next and continue, and you can see a refresh of all the registry values and how this is going. So that's for next. And if you want to step into these functions, yeah, choose like with GDB commands, we can choose, we can do that. All right. So it should be quite easy. So as I mentioned, next year we will have a IDA connector. If you have any ideas or something that you wanted us to do, or if you prefer, hey, I don't use IDA, I like to use Radare or something on any other type of debugger, please let us know. We will try to do our best to help with that. And what we pick IDA because there is no, for instance, there is no shellcode generator or a way of finding offsets or yeah, for IDA itself. I think there was one really old version like 5 years ago, but there is nothing like that at the moment for exploit dev. So we're gonna try to fulfill that need for IDA. That is also a need that we have. besides that, we want to be able to develop the exploit on one monitor, having exploit pack, and on the other the target. So that would be way easier when you are just trying to build something from scratch. Remember to use the module wizard, and if you want to edit any of these exploits that you have, you can just click on the edit function. For some reason, it's yeah, snap it out. But yeah, and after you have your exploit ported into exploit pack, then of course you can make use of all the agents. You can try to use the lateral movement inside exploit pack, do the yeah, send exploits from exploit pack itself to do privilege escalation. So basically, that's why you will like to have exploit pack ported into your exploit ported into exploit pack, not the other way around. So because once you have your exploit in exploit pack, then you can make use of all the other features that exploit pack can give you. Untrace it, everything, of course, untrace everything out of it. All right. Gonna keep short this one. Guys, do you have any questions for me? Otherwise, what I'm gonna do, would like to continue with this. I would like to continue with this session, and then the next session I would like to add top of this. So I don't want to go into exploit development and try to because what I would like to move from here is to show you how to develop an exploit for Windows, basically. Not not really a simple one, but a little bit more complex one, because we already covered the basic exploits. So I would like to show you how to develop an exploit, and then if we are because it's gonna be, the next one is gonna be in December. So on that one we can cover that, and then we can jump on the tier session and show you how to do that and debug it with the new debugger. The exploit from Metasploit. So that has a question if the CVs and the exploit from Metasploit can be used on exploit pack. No, they cannot. You cannot add the exploit from Metasploit. They are not compatible. You can use Metasploit. Yeah, it's not. It's an alternative. I mean, you don't have to decide Metasploit or exploit pack, or there is not a tool that will do it all. Well, there are a lot of places that Metasploit is a better tool than exploit pack for some things, and there are other places that you will like exploit pack for. But I think nowadays we have enough disk space to have both tools installed. But no, you cannot port. I mean, you can port them, but then you need to rewrite them, of course. The way that Metasploit use their exploit first, they use Ruby as a main language, and you need to they use a totally different approach to add exploits. So basically, you need to port them in such a way, use all the libraries, use everything that they have. So with exploit pack, we wanted to keep it short, keep it basic. I mean, we already think that you already know how to develop an exploit. So basically, you want to just paste it into the tool, make it ready for the tool itself, and then just try to go with your pen test, not with don't you don't have to invest time on parsing and coding your exploit for exploit pack itself. So that's it. Of course, you can make it more complex, but we try to skip that. All right, guys. So that's the plan. So next, yeah, of course, the shell that you wanted to use, you can do that. It's a boy. But all right. So basically, that's the plan. Next session, I'm gonna show you how to develop an exploit for Windows, a little bit more complex one than the ones that we've seen before. And then after that session, so that would be next year, in January, we're gonna see how to debug that exploit with exploit pack on IDA. Yeah, there are gonna be recordings available. Of course, we are gonna try to keep it on a time zone that everyone is is happy to assist. But of course, we will try to make it in the middle for everyone. All right, guys. So I'm gonna wish you a happy Sunday, or the ending of your Sunday, or the beginning of it, depending where you are. And see you in in a month for the next one. Okay. Thanks, guys.